Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Note Genius YouTube channel. Happy New Year. Hope everyone is bringing in the year with a successful start. Today, I am joined by Dr. Ivan Terrero. He is here to speak to us about his journey so far in the note investing space and how he sees note investing playing into his life, his career, and how it can accelerate him as he proceeds to lead the way in the medical field. Dr. Ivan, how are you?
I am doing well. Thank you for having me on your podcast.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining me.
I
We'll
love you.
start
I love
off.
you. I love your hat.
Oh, appreciate it, man. That's what it's all about, right? That's why we're here.
Yep. Yep. Mhm.
That's why we're here. We'll start off nice and easy. Just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you became a note investor.
Well, I am the first generation dentist in my family.
Mhm.
My parents they were accountants, and I became the black sheep of the family. I became a dentist. So I've been practicing dentistry for about 35 years now. And how did I become a note investor? Well, I purchased some, let me go back. Okay.
Mhm.
I got started in real estate by purchasing land in Florida, and we built homes and we sold it rent to own way back when. And along the way, I got into different aspects of real estate, buying and holding single family homes, um, vacation homes, and fixing and flipping. And there was one instance where I got into a fix and flip, a remote fix and flip, which at that time I had basically lost my shirt. And at the same time, I was into private lending. And when at the end of the year, when I looked at the numbers on comparing the fix and flip and the private lending, I saw that my returns being a note investor, creating notes on properties was so much higher with so much less stress and a lot more passive that I decided to ditch that and become a full-time note investor.
So, about how long in between when you started flipping to when you came to that realization was it?
Unfortunately, that was right around the time of the pandemic. So
Mm.
we started the fix and flip in December of 2019, and with the holidays and all that stuff, and then COVID hit, just everything just fell flat, and we couldn't finish the fix and flip. We couldn't get anyone into the property, and it was supposed to be a 3 month quick and easy fix and flip, putting the proverbial pig lipstick on a pig.
Mm.
It took us 7 months.
Mm.
And at the same time, in January of 2019, I had created a note on a mobile home. And the long story short is that my returns on that mobile home note was 39%.
Wow.
Yeah. And previous to that, through some context that I had done some private lending, basically creating notes on hard assets. And again, the income was passive. It hit my account every first of the month. And for a busy professional like me, managing tenants and toilets was just not it. And I have to go again in the past where I was a owner of a small multifamily unit. And when it goes great, the money comes in and you have a good manager, all you have to do is look at the reports. But when that manager quits, you have to find another manager, then it becomes a headache. And then when one or two tenants stop paying, it becomes an even bigger headache. And me being a practicing dentist, I already had the practice that I had to worry about, and adding another layer of complications to my life just was uh, not it. It wasn't happening.
Okay. So that kind of leads me into my next question. I mean, obviously, it sounds like the transition was somewhat of a no-brainer to you when you
Mhm.
compared, what you had going on. As a dentist, as a busy professional like you are, how does note investing fit into your schedule? I mean, how many hours do you typically spend creating notes or looking for notes to buy? How does that work for you?
So as a practicing dentist, I work 4 days a week now. and I have a staff that basically helps me run the office. So I'm basically hands off in my office. In my note investing business, I've invested time to learn how to look at notes, how to underwrite them, and pass on the ones that don't fit my criteria. As a result, I have a specific buy box that when I get that inventory, I know how to um, look at the notes that fit my criteria and weed out the ones that don't fit my criteria. So I figure I spend usually about maybe an hour a day looking and analyzing notes and different tapes that come through my inbox.
Nice. Okay. That's, I mean, that fits right into your day then.
Mhm.
Speaking of said buy box, I mean, what are you looking for right now? What are you after? Are you performers, non-performers? Do you have states that you like? What fits that buy box?
Well, states we like not non-judicial states
Okay.
because it's easier to close on the property if it comes to that. We like performing notes on single-family homes. We also like performing notes on commercial properties,
Hmm.
be it mobile home parks, apartment buildings, self-storage, and medical office buildings.
Nice. Now, are you partnering with other investors to take down these notes? Are you raising capital? How are you
I
approaching
partner with other investors, and we are looking for anyone that's looking for passive income, like your hat says,
it?
that want to be involved in real estate but don't want the headaches again of the tenants, toilets, and termites.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about.
Mhm.
That's one of my favorite things about this space is it's a very once people understand it, it's kind of relatively easy to bring people in and say, hey, this is the hassle that you would be dealing with going the traditional route, the route that everybody knows, and this is what we deal with over here where the grass is greener, you know.
Okay.
So speaking of that, for other healthcare professionals like yourself, do you see note investing as maybe something that these people could retire on in the future, or something to supplement them if they need to take, take a break? I mean, you guys work a lot if you need to take some time off. How do you kind of envision note investing playing into the life of a healthcare professional?
Of course, I'm biased. I think that everyone should be involved in notes because it is passive.
Mhm.
It is less of a headache than dealing with tenants. And what I have found with notes, you can do just about everything you do with a house, you can do with a note. If there's a performing note, think of it as a performing rental. And if it's a non-performing note, think of it as a house you have to rehabilitate. And what we do is that we work with the homeowner to make sure that they are they can stay in their home. My goal is that when I have a non-performing note, is not to take the property back. Again, I live in Florida right now. Most of the notes that I have some notes in Florida. We have some notes all over the country. And again, I don't want to be a landlord. So with a non-performing note, we work with the homeowner to try to rehabilitate the homeowner and make sure that they stay in the house. So again, I'm very biased because I deal with less headaches. Again, I don't have to find a plumber. I don't have to find a locksmith when the tenant moves out.
Mhm.
So it's very passive the way we've got it set it up right now.
No, when it comes to rehabilitating these homeowners and dealing with your non-performing notes, from your experience, do you find that they are typically uh, willing to play ball and receptive of that help? Because a lot of people, when they get behind on their mortgage, the phone starts ringing and maybe they start dodging and stuff. They get kind of anxious about what that call may be. Where you're coming in and saying, "Hey, we're here to help you. We're here to work through this with you." How's your experience been with that?
My experience through the years has gotten better and better. Again, when you're new to this asset class, you don't know what to look for. Again, with the experience, I know now what to look for. We reach out to the homeowners and we find out basically if we're buying a non-performing or slow performing note, we find out what the backstory is. And it could happen to anyone. You know, we can wake up one day, we're in good health. We can have something that happened to us that'll impede us from being a productive member of society. Your car can break down. And so we work through all these situations to make sure that we're trying to be on their side and not have them leave their house. And depending on the asset class, again, there are so many types of notes. There's first position notes, there's second position notes, there's non-performing notes. When you work with someone that has a second position note and has equity in their property, they're more willing to work it out to make sure that they stay in their property. Okay. With a second position note that's not performing, there is something that's called an emotional involvement. Most second position notes are someone taking out a home equity line of credit to improve on their house, to add a new roof or to add an addition. So that helps us understand where they're coming from so that we can help them.
Nice. Yeah, I think that's a great point to touch on. A lot of what we focus on is first position, and there is
Mhm.
opportunity in seconds. Seconds are usually considerably smaller than first, and they are, like you said, used for home improvement or whatever the case may be. And there is opportunity there if you're willing to learn how to work through them and proceed to do so. Um, from the notes that you've created, um, how do you qualify your borrowers, number one? And number two, do you think that uh, going forward, you're more interested in acquiring notes or creating your own?
Well, right now, we're agnostic as far as acquiring or creating notes.
Mm,
The opportunity now I see in 2026 is creating notes for affordable homes.
mm,
And that segment would be manufactured homes. So what we do is that we find people that are working that have steady jobs, and we find a place where there is that need, and we have a screening tool that helps us filter out what we call bad actors or people who have tendency not to pay. And we create a note on a manufactured home, and this way we're helping stabilize neighborhoods and we're helping people again become a homeowner.
mm. Okay.
Now, the note business has gotten a little bit more, uh, I would say, competitive in these last couple of years, and more people are discovering the space. So I think going forward, creating notes, it would be a good way to go.
I think that's a great point. I think that's
Mhm.
a great point. I think up until recently, people have been singing the praises of how unsung the note business is. And like you said, now we're reaching a point where people are starting to uncover the diamond in the rough.
Mhm.
And I think that's what makes the note business beautiful. Again, well, another thing that makes it beautiful is that uh, I mean, you're creating paper. It's not like you're building another. You're not creating a new building. You're creating paper, right?
Right.
And so there's never notes are never going to run out. People are always going to need loans. People are always going to need money to buy property or whatever the case may be. And so it's almost infinite supply as long as you have the means and knowledge to
Right.
participate.
And the way I describe the note business to someone is that I ask them, have you ever had a car payment or have you ever had a credit card bill? So if you had those two things, you've been in the note business. The
Hmm.
only thing is you've been on the wrong side of the note business. You're paying the bank the right to use their product. By being a note investor, we become the bank and the income is passive. See. So I always say that you've never seen a banker mow the lawn. You've never seen a banker look for tenants. You've never seen a banker kick out a tenant. So
Right, right, right. That's not the bank's problem. Those are property
exactly.
owner problems, as I like to call them.
Exactly.
Let's circle back to you mentioned you invest in commercial notes as well, and you mentioned medical buildings.
Mhm.
Okay, so what made you branch into the commercial side from the residential? I mean, residential tends to be the most popular, the most well known. What made you go that route?
Well, a lot of medical doctors and dentists, they own their buildings and they could have, I would say, it frees up cash flow for them. This way, they don't own the building. They don't have to worry about being the landlord. So we look for triple net lease properties And there are some offices, some groups that actively do not own the property. This way they can invest again in the practice. And it's becoming very, very common as unfortunately a lot of private equity will get into the space. What they do is that they'll buy the practice and they'll buy the building and they'll sell the building and they'll sell that note in order to acquire more practices. So that's an opportunity that's been that I've uncovered last year.
Nice. That makes a lot of sense. Do you have anything in particular that you're striving for this year? Just looking to steadily scale and grow? As you said, you uncovered that last year. Is there anything in particular that you are looking to expand upon in 2026?
Well, my goal is to make note investing more, make people more the dental professionals, the medical professionals, more aware of note investing
Mhm.
because it is a passive way to earn income. I keep using that word, but it just keeps coming up. And you're not subject to the gyrations of the stock market because the stock market is volatile. With notes, it is you have the note holder has a contractual obligation to pay that money
Mhm.
on a monthly basis.
Yeah, I agree. I think that if what you're looking for is predictability, security. I mean, you really can't beat a contract, right? Where, hey, I'm owed X amount every month for this term or the
Mhm.
property that it's attached to. I mean, you can't beat that. Um, the stock market is the way that we're all introduced to investing, but that does not necessarily mean that that is the right path for us in the long term, or at least not the only path. It's
It's
good to
not
diversify.
right. I agree. It's not the only path
Yes.
because, again, like you said, we're introduced to investing via the stock market, and it's the most popular way to invest.
Mhm.
But yet, at the same time, most millionaires make their money through real estate or hard assets or a business.
Mhm.
So I think it's a combination of equities, real estate, and notes.
I think that's
It's
a
just for me personally, it has increased in the note business. There's been a marked increase in my investments in the note business.
That's fantastic. So that's a recipe for success. You get a little bit here, a little bit there, and especially when you have the note income to uh, fall back on and kind of give you some of that confidence that, hey, if I take a risk in another area, I still know that I have 10 notes paying me off, every month or whatever the case may be. You have a little more wiggle room to try something new or to take a big swing because you're not going to lose everything because you have your note income coming in. I think that's a very powerful position of leverage to be,
Yes,
right?
yes. I view it as a form of bond investing
Mhm.
because you get a fixed amount of income every month from your note, just like as you would when you invest in bonds. Except that with bonds, the value can go and the yield can go up and down according to the spread.
Mhm.
With note investing, you get the consistent income every month.
Got you. Okay. I have a couple more for you. Let's go here. Are there any notes that you've either created or purchased uh that gave you an experience that maybe shifted the way that you approach the note business? Good or bad?
The good was again that note that I created on a mobile home. We provided again a stable place for that, stable living quarters for that person. And when they fell behind on their payments, we had already contractually agreed to modify the note. So what turned out to be a 9.5% yield on a note, it was extended uh, 2 years and the yield was 39%. So
Hmm.
that was a positive again. And we got from the homeowner, we've got a nice Christmas letter saying that, a nice Christmas card, sorry, thanking us because we kept them in the house. The negative one was one that I purchased in a non-judicial state we had to go through the foreclosure, and because the foreclosure process was a bit longer, it took us about a year to recoup that investment. But in the scheme of things, once we got that person out of that property and we created a new note, we started the clock all over again. So I would think it was, in the scheme of things, it was a net positive
Mhm.
because we were collecting money for the first 3 years, and at year four, that's when things started breaking down.
Okay, so yeah, you still got a return out of it, and you go through the foreclosure process, and then you sold it on seller financing, the property.
You'll find, yes.
Got it. So yeah, you turned it into another note anyway. That's awesome. That's awesome. There's so many different exit strategies in this lane that you can kind of feel like you can be a lot more flexible than some of the other uh investment paths that people take. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I appreciate your insight. I think you have some great stuff to share. It's great to hear how you went from flipping to creating and purchasing your own notes and how that applies to your lifestyle as a dentist. Is there anything that you would leave us with, say, for someone who has maybe heard of note investing, been studying it for a little bit, and is ready in 2026 to jump in the pool and join the rest of us?
I would say go, dive in and learn as much as you can about note investing because I think it is a good alternative to the stock market and to regular real estate investment. I mean, there are a lot of education channels out there. I don't want to plug myself, but I do have my own website. There's plenty of free information on my website.
Plug away. What's your website?
My website is called www.thenotedoctor.com.
No Doctor. Okay. TheNoteDoctor.com. We'll add that in the link in the description to this video. But that's why we're here. We're here to talk to you and whatever insights you have to share and offer, we want to attract people to you. So you guys heard that here, TheNoteDoctor.com. Talk to Dr. Ivan, see what he has to share. He obviously has a plethora of experiences in the note space. And so he's generous enough to sit here and talk to us for about 30 minutes or so. I'm sure he'll be generous enough to continue to talk to you as well. Dr. Ivan, thank you so much for your time. Best of luck to you in your practice and your continued success in the note investing space. We'll be in touch, of course, and I'll talk to you soon. Happy 2026 and good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.